Hello class, this is a video I've created to help with understanding how to use Zotero to collect, organize, and cite your references should you want to use a technology tool to do that, which is part of the purpose of the class, to learn some technologies that we think are highly relevant to an education professional. And certainly I think any type of database that allows us to work more efficiently and particularly in the area of research is probably a good resource. We're looking at Zotero, and Zotero can be found just simply by Googling Zoter.org. You can, or just go to Zotero.org, and you'll notice there is a place to download. And you've got two choices. This one over here for Firefox is the Windows version, and this one over here for Mac is the Mac version. But one thing that I've noticed here is the Mac version automatically puts in the plugins, and those are important for Word. Looks like you have to do that separately over here for a PC, and that shouldn't be a problem, but it's something you're going to want, and I'll show you as I demonstrate how to do an in-text site. So once you get the download done and you'll register, it's all free. You'll get a client or basically a computer version that looks like this right here, and it looks very similar to a lot of, if you've seen some database programs before, it looks very similar to that. And you can see I have several resources already in from publications that I've done over the past few years. And you can organize them in any way you want, move them around in any way you want. So for example, I have created EDU 8308, and to show you real quickly how I did that, let's say I wanted to do a new collection, and we're going to call this one, let's say it's EDU 8314, since I'm teaching that also. I might want to put some resources there, and you'll see it'll show up right there. You'll also see that I've already put a resource in here. Can millennials pay attention to classwork while texting? That article that we went over just a few days ago. One of the real challenges to citing sources is you have to do I think there's a certain level of subjectivity sometimes on what they actually are. So, for example, here's one I put in, and here's how I would go through that process. When you find a source of some kind, somewhere, in Zotero, to put it in manually, and there's a couple of ways to get these in here. I'm going to show you how to just put a source in manually. The easier way is when you go to your library resources like EBSCO and things like that, you can export from that and import directly in. And that probably goes beyond the scope of this course, so I'm not going to show that. So I'm just going to show a manual entry. So I'm going to start here. We've got I'm going to put in something new. And they put a few up here just to kind of show us, okay, here's some common ones you might put in, but there's a whole list of others. And you kind of just go down the list and say, okay, well, what is this I have found? Well, in the case of this document that we went over in class, it appears to be just a document that was presented on a website that is dedicated to this type of depository of this kind of work. And in this case, it's called the publisher, or what we're calling the publisher is called the conversation. So I'm going to categorize this as a document because it's not a publication, it's not a journal, it's not really a blog entry necessarily. It's an article, if you will, but it doesn't really fit into any other thing like a report to me or a statute or anything like that. So I'm going to call it a document, and I'm going to put the title of the document in there. Now, a couple of ways I can do that. I can type it manually, or I can copy paste it like that. Go back, put the title in there, and paste it in there. I could also do that. I know the author's name, it's Miller. I've already put it in there, so it comes up automatically. The publisher I'm going to call the conversation, for lack of better definition than that. The date looks like, and I just put the year because that's what you want in the citation, is 2015. The URL, another place you can just go, okay, at the bottom of the PDF, I already know that anytime you print a PDF, which I did, you get the URL with it. So I can go to the URL and paste that in there as well. And I access this on, I'm going to say, July 2016. And I think that's about all I have to put in there. And then that's done. I've got a source in there. Simple as that. Other sources, you've got documents, and listen, you got this entire list. Is it a radio broadcast? Is it video recording? Is it a TV broadcast? Statute? Because it is possible that you could use a YouTube video, for example, if you were doing a type of publication that might want to. I think the only danger to using some of these things, like websites, for that matter, which is always the case, is over time they may change. So that's why I think it's probably a good idea not to use too many websites. But that's how you get it in there. Now, let's shift over to how we would use this now to embed it in a document. And I'll do that in the next video.